This is a demo on how to sew elastic into fabric. So this elastic is actually sewn onto the fabric if the fabric wants to pucker. This is done without making any kind of casing for the elastic to go into. So first what I need to do is figure out how much elastic I need. So I'm taking this fabric that I'm using as a sample, and I'll just take the elastic about half the length of the fabric. So I just fold it in half so I could use it to measure. This is a great technique for ruching on a shirt. So I need to make sure my elastic can stretch the whole way because I'm going to sew it to the fabric. And then I'll do another sample, and this time the elastic is going to be a little bit longer, just to show the difference. So that's about an inch longer than the other one. And then my third one will be an inch longer than the second one. And I'm just eyeballing this for the demo. If you were going to do this for a shirt, you would probably want to take a piece of fabric that's the same as the shirt you're sewing, just to practice. So the elastic is going to be on the back side. So I'm sewing on the back side right now, and actually this is my front side because I have some drawings on the back side I want to cover up. I don't want those to be visible, so I'm going to go ahead and sew on top of those. So here we go. The elastic goes into the fabric, and I'm going to stitch forward and backward just a few times. Now I place the needle into the fabric, and I'm putting the elastic, pulling it all the way along the fabric, and I'll start sewing along this elastic here as I'm continuing to pull it. So I'm holding this down, and I'll start sewing here. So I have to give it a little bit of guidance, so I'm pulling it in the back and the front just to create some tension on the material. So when I get to the very end, I move my finger out of the way, back stitch it, and now look, when I take it out, there's a nice pucker. So this is great for the edge of a sleeve if you wanted to, for a shirt if you want ruching. You could do multiple passes at this. So this is about 1/4 inch elastic. You could use even thinner elastic. This is just a sample of how to do that. Now I'm moving into the next piece of elastic that's a little bit less short. It's a little bit longer than the past one that I just did. So I place that onto the fabric, back stitch it just a little bit at the beginning, and now I'm stretching that elastic, and I make sure that it's going straight across the fabric. So it's a little bit hard to tell because this ruching is getting in the way, but I want to make sure that it's not going diagonal, it's going straight across. So I start stitching that. I'm really letting the feed dogs do their work. I'm helping a little bit, just get the fabric out of the way. And this could be pinned down and then stitched into it, but I always like just holding it better if I can. So I'm at the end, and I'll back stitch and forward stitch. So there you have it. That one's less puckered than the top one. And now I'm doing one more on the bottom, and I'm giving them plenty of space. If I wanted to do a bunch right in a row, I could do that. Another way of getting ruching is to get sewing thread that's actually elastic, and it comes just in the sewing thread section, and you can wind that onto your bobbin and give it a little bit of tension and pull it a little bit while you're winding it onto the bobbin, and then sew with normal sewing thread on the top, and you'll have a similar effect without quite so much bulk in the elastic. This way is a little bit stronger depending on what you're using it for. So there we go. You can see this will stretch a little bit, The middle one stretches more, and the top one stretches the most.